I think it's basically leadership. You gotta do more action, more. How can I explain this? You know, have more attitude. You know,
Mm.
than just managing. You just like control is the
Aha.
it's am I on the right track or
Yeah, yeah. Alexander, what about you? How do you think about it?
So I
It's
think
very
the
important.
leader needs to serve your team.
Yeah.
I think this is the main difference. And manager maybe take care of a data, something like this.
Mm. So don't you, cannot you have any manager, for example, for a team, for a department, for a group or not? We say always say group leader or some team manager or group manager. In operation and concept, basic concept, because before entering to the course, it's very important for me that how do you think on yourself, on your own yourself, about the leadership, management, and to be a boss. So different. For example, one of the concepts are different between these people, that a boss is for a tribe. The chief is for a tribe. A manager is for an organization. A leader is for a movement. And between these, there is a not new concept, but newly presented in the modern society as coach, a mentor. The new version of management, new version of leadership is coaching and mentorship, okay? So your boss is at the back of the tribe and said, go forward, I'm supporting you. It's the boss. The manager is with you. So let's go, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the leader is in front of you. So said, follow me.
Okay.
So boss has the tribe, manager has the organization.
So
And
leader we can follow, right?
Yeah.
And the manager want to work for them.
Yeah, and leader has followers.
Followers.
So it is very basic, different concept between these. But you are studying management and also business. Who wants to be a leader in the future between you, Alexander, Nathan, and Ronald? Who want to be a leader? With consideration of this definition, who wants to be and who expect himself or herself to be a leader with this definition and this distinguishment between the leadership, management, and to be a boss? Who wants to be a leader in the future? As Robbins said, that leaders are readers. It is Anthony Robbins has a new job. It is called knowledge broker. Robin, has you heard about the knowledge broker?
No, I've not heard about that. Can you say
Knowledge broker is, for example, I want to have a company, to have a startup.
Mm-hmm.
Who is knowledge broker? It's the same one that provide me the basic, not knowledge about the industry. Knowledge is for yourself, your profession in your industry. For example, how can you run your Instagram? How can you run your Facebook? How can you provide your knowledge in the cyberspace? The person, the company who provides you these facilities and this knowledge base is like a very new knowledge about how can you have propaganda and advertise in cyberspace. And in the contrast that everybody says and think that everybody should know about it, unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to use it as a proficiency, not as a personal, for example, age in Instagram, for example. This job is now called knowledge broker. And Anthony Robbins has a field of knowledge broker. You can study about it. It's very new brand in how to use knowledge.
Is there actually a book on that?
Yeah, broker, okay. Yeah. For example, exchange broker, insurance broker, it is knowledge broker. You are trading knowledge? Yes. Yeah. With this concept, They said leaders are readers. And if you want to be a leader, you should be at first a reader in a competitive world. Not a traditional. Honestly, if I want to talk to you, leadership with these concepts is not about the traditional world. It was intellectual leaders, for example, philosopher, prophets, or shamans, or other people. They were traditional leaders. Now in an organization, leadership is very, very important. The cutoff point, the turning point of the organization is by a leader, not by a manager. A manager wants to improve the present state to maintenance and improve the present state. This is manager. But leadership and leader is future oriented. Leader is not for the same time and at this time. Leader is future oriented. It is a very, very key concept in leader, in every type of leadership. Leaders are future oriented. Non-leaders are not. They are future oriented. And if you are thinking about your future, just now you are thinking like a leader. And do you know what is the name of the concept using for thinking about the future? You as the management student, business, also you know it. That what is the concept we use for thinking about the future? What is the word? What is the vocabulary we use? What type of management is management about the future, leadership about it? It is called? Yes, it is very famous word in your job. Very, very famous.
Does it start with a V?
Now it is start with S.
S.
What type of management is the management about the future? It choose.
Okay, got it. Got it. Okay.
Do you know? What is it?
Strategic?
No. Yeah. Strategic. Strategic, it is strategy is about thinking about the future. I'm very amazing about the strategy that it is you in your strategy planning, you should not think about the how. You should not think about the how or when or where or by who or by whom. No, only what.
Mm-hmm.
So goal setting is the first part of your strategic thinking. Why a lot of people don't have any strategic planning, strategic thinking? Because at first they think about the future by asking how, by asking where, by asking when, by asking who or whom. Is fantastic? Yes, because at the deepest level of strategic thinking and deepest level of leadership, you should at first, where do you want to go? Okay, let's start it with the concept of chapter 1. Do you have my page?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you? Okay. Chapter 1 of your book is authors Dr. Nahavandi. It is one of the good books and very simple books about these concepts. Defining leadership and leadership effectiveness, explain why people need leadership, discuss the major obstacles to effective leadership, compare and contrast leadership and management, list the roles and functions of leaders and managers, and summarize the debate over the role and impact of leadership in organization. At first, everything begins with definitions. We have two types of definition for everything. One, conceptual definition. Two, operational definition. For example, somebody says to me, what is the conceptual definition of intelligence? What is intelligence as a concept? Alexander, do you know? What is the meaning of intelligence as a concept? Snowden? Ronald?
Knowledge?
What is intelligence? You are an adult. A child asks you, Sorry, Ronald, what is intelligence?
You mean creativity? No.
Creativity, other things? It is about the concept
Knowledge.
of intelligence, not about the symbols, not the cues of intelligence. For example, we say everybody who is intelligent, yes, he or she has a lot of creativity. It is about the actions you can see in intelligent people. No, it is operational definition. As a concept, what is intelligence? Very, very simple question as an adult, and you are going to have a highest level of thinking as the leaders. How do you want to be a leader? How do you want to be a manager if you cannot think so straight and operational and conceptual? Thinking and correct thinking and thinking correct, which are different. Correct thinking is about the content of thinking, but thinking correct, it is about the procedure of thinking. It is form and content, two different things. At first, as an adult, as a future manager, as a future leader, you should do thinking and correct thinking about everything. So at first, I'm a child, and I asked Ronald, how old are you, Ronald?
I'm 39.
Okay, and I ask you, sorry, I am a child. I want to know about the intelligence. I don't know what is real intelligence. And you are graduated, you are DBA, you have a DBA, and DBA is not a degree. DBA is a thinking style. When you have doctorate, it is not about your degree. It is about your how do you think. It is a thinking style. And Ronald, so sorry, I don't know anything about intelligence. You just guide me and learn, help me to learn what is intelligence. What is intelligence as a concept? Creativity, other things. Robin, you can help Ronald or no?
Maybe like understand it.
That's good.
Learning, knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Good. Is literacy, is ability to understand the books, a sign of intelligence or not? Should I understand the books if you call me an intelligent people or not? It is expectable or not? You may be a simple worker, but an intelligent simple worker with no ability to read the books. How do you call a simple worker an intelligent simple worker? What do you see in him or her as an intelligent? After that, I will talk to you about the differences between to be intelligent and to be smart, and also to be clever. They are different. They are not the same. Operational, very, very different. But at first we are talking, for example, Ronald has a simple worker in his company and says, wow, she or he needs to be professional. She or he should pass some training, so professional. He or she is very, very intelligent. But now his position in my company is a simple worker, but an intelligent simple worker. For example, a very real position in your company for the future, and you want to have some decision making about your future of your company, also your, for example, co-workers, your employees. How do you think about them? Alexander, what about you? What is the sign of intelligence in your mind? As an adult, I am a child, you want to describe me, my son. These are the signs of intelligence. One, learning, understanding, creativity, that's good. Other things?
Example, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Problem solving is a sign of intelligence or not?
It definitely is.
Yes.
Also creativity. Is management general? Management as a general concept, not as an organizational concept. For example, relationship management. Do you expect an intelligent people to solve the problems, relationship problems, interpersonal problems, very effectively, more effectively than other people or not? Think about it. This is not a real question. I want to notify that you should start thinking about the problems if you want to be a good and effective manager and also a high-level leader. It is not related to your university degree. You and I know a lot of people with DBA, for example, from Harvard, but they cannot solve the problems in the real world. And you and I know, for example, Jeff Bezos. What is the university graduated Jeff Bezos? And Bill Gates?
No graduation.
And your president, Donald Trump?
Even though no graduation, right?
Harvard? Stanford? Caltech?
No graduation.
California Miramar University? Which university? They have graduated. Also, I want to sharpen your mind about this concept that yes, you should have a lot of information and data in your mind to be a high tech mind, not high level mind. It is the technology of mind, not the concept of mind. If you cannot think correct, sorry, you are in the box, not out of the box. And one of the major differences between leaders and managers is that leaders are future oriented. And I'm so sorry that I should tell you that future is out of your today's box. Future is not in this box. Everything is, this box is present day. So go to the teaching. A leader is any person who influences individuals and groups within an organization, helps them in the establishment of goals and guides them toward achievement of those goals, thereby allowing them to be effective. 4 keywords we have here for definition of leadership. Okay, because this course is about the leadership in organizations, so we have a pre-assumption about the leadership in organization. But goal setting, achievement, and effective. These are the keywords of leadership. If you don't have any ability to go setting the goals for your company, for your organization, sorry, you are not a good leader. Key elements: group phenomenon, goal-oriented, and hierarchy. Who knows time management skills here?
I'm sorry,
As a person, not as a leader. Robin, do you know?
could you repeat time management what?
Yeah, time management skills.
Excuse?
Skills. Do you know the knowledge about how you should manage your time, daily time?
How you manage your daily time?
As a skill training.
Yeah.
Have you passed any course? Have you taken any course about the time management?
In time management, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
So
Because Robin,
because
you have a very, very serious job in the organizations. If you cannot manage your time, how can you manage my time? As for example, HR manager. At first, you should know. Other people, Alexander, do you know any knowledge about the time management skills? Knowledge. Have you taken any course about it?
No.
Okay. When you want to talk about the hierarchies, you should know about your priorities. If you don't know anything about your priorities, you cannot talk about the hierarchies. If you don't know about your hierarchies, you cannot be goal-oriented, result-oriented, and process-oriented. We are talking to Kalamview to have a very good course in master degree or DBA, that it is about the job matching assessment toolbox. We will offer you some toolbox for knowing about the job matching, who is proper for this type of or that type of job, okay? The first thing is you should know about your priorities in the future. Why? Because at first you should know you have limitation in 4 things. In 4 matters, you have a serious limitation. Also, it is on my own theory. 1, time limitations, financial limitations, energy limitations, and intellectual limitations. You don't have enough time for anything, time limitations. You don't have enough money and financial resources for anything. No, you have financial limitations. You don't have enough energy for anything. You have energy limitation. And sorry, finally, I am like this. I don't know that you are like me or not, but I cannot understand everything. I have intellectual limitations, not intellectual disabilities. It is very clear that as a human being, some of the things I know are some things I don't know. I cannot understand. Because of these 4 limitations, 4 basic limitations, you should have some priority about your goals. Leader is effective. It is a good question. Who is an effective leader? It's very good leadership. Good question. Who is an effective leader? Achieve their goals? At first, you should know when you are talking about the effectiveness of a leader, you are talking about the followers, but not necessarily follower satisfaction. It is not necessary because a lot of your followers don't know anything about their proper things, which is proper, which is not proper. It is something like parenting. When you are a parent, okay, you want your baby, your child be happy, but sometimes he or she wants something that is not good for him or her, okay? So you are not a good parent? Yes, you are a wise parent. A lot of times, wise parent is not a happy parent. Yes, it is no problem because you are your leader of your child. You are future oriented. You see 10 years after this time. You see, it is called in coaching and psychology, it is called delayed gratification. One of the best criteria to be different from childhood and adulthood, it is child always wants what? Instant gratification. Adults sometimes want delayed gratification. Working now and gaining tomorrow. Working now and gaining, for example, next year. So the criteria for being a good and effective leader is not your follower satisfaction. It is your followers' rate of gaining their goals by your leadership. It is a criteria to diagnose this leader is good or not, effective or not effective. Achieve their goals, function well together. Why function well together? Because you are talking about the leadership in organizations, not in the groups, not in the general people. When you are a good leader, one of the signs of to be good a leader is in the leader's organization, followers, members, employees treat well together and adapt to the changing demands of external forces. Adaptation these days is a very, 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 very important word. Why? In this specific situation, what is our specific situation in the world just now? Because of that, you are combo. Your class is combo. What you are not in the real class. Why? Because of
COVID.
COVID, yeah. COVID-19 is a very good example, not for changing demand of external worlds, for rapidly changing world, rapidly changing. Only about 2 months. Only about 2 months. It is so more rapid, so rapid, like Second World War. Only 2 months. Everything was changed. Why? Because of the pandemic. So, do we need leadership now? Yes. Why? Because your future is not like your past. Never. Not now, not in the history. Your future should not be like your past. When your future is like your past, you're wasting your time because it is the timeline. It is called past, present, future. If it is the same, for example, when someone in the age of 50 says, oh, I feel like I am 17. I said, sorry, you are 50, not 17. Have you wasted your past 33 years ago? Or yes. No, I feel like a 17 teenage people. Oh, that's good. It's about energy, not about the wisdom. Because the 17 people is not a wise man. If you are thinking at the age of 50, like you're at the age of the 17, sorry, you have wasted your past 33 years ago. So, the group achieve its goals, the group members work together, and other things. A basic questions. We have bosses, we have managers, we have coaches, we have mentors. Why do we need leaders? To keep groups orderly, yes. What is the opposite of order?
Disorder?
Disorder.
What is the opposite of order? It is called chaos.
Chaos. Yes.
But I love another word for the opposite of order. It is used in mental. We don't say mental illnesses, mental diseases. We say mental disorders because it is about mental. Your body is about disease. It is ease and disease, and order and disorder. Pay attention to the word of disorder. It is out of the order. It is not under control. To keep focus on group goals. It is very bad things in the world community that one of the high grade disorders is ADHD. Why? Because of people with ADHD, a lot of people has ADHD with a different range of diagnosis. They don't have any good focus. You are so young, fortunately. But after some decades, when you think that, wow, it is too soon to be late. It is very too soon. For example, I am now 50 years old, and I think when I was at the age of 30, I think, wow, I have 20 years to reach to 50 years. And I say, yes, it is 20 years, I know. But it's too soon to be late, too soon. And I think not about, wow, about the age of 70, because I know the age difference between 30 to 50, it is 50 to 70. So focus and focal point is a very important. Do you have any focal point for your studying? Nitin, do you have any focal point for your studying? What is the field you want to concentrate in your business, for example, in your university studying? Which course, which study, which field is very interesting as a focal field? You have a lot of focus on it. Ronald, Alexander, Robin.
So kind of like your major?
Management.
Management. What type of management? So details. Strategic management, business management, sales management.
Strategic management.
Strategic management. Which field of strategic management? Strategic sales management, strategic organizational, behavioral, because the strategic management is a concept, not a field. You can use it for every field. Even in psychology, we have a strategic therapy. You have a type of therapy, this is strategic therapy.
Like administrating, actually I'm basic from nursing. Now I plan to take a strategic management course in masters.
Mm-hmm.
So in future, I plan to administration, healthcare industry like that. That's my intention
Yeah,
to take
yeah.
this course. Yeah.
Health system. As you know, my bachelor is also from nursing, and I worked as a psychiatric nurse for 10 years.
Oh,
And during that, I gained my master's degree in clinical psychology, and after that, health psychology for PhD. So you are from another, and you want to have some, for example, health organization, strategic management. And Alexander, what is your favorite field in your, as a focal point? What do you want to know about it more than everybody else in your field? Is it clear for you or not?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it or not? It's your secret.
No, not secret. So I'd like to teaching about business administration in order to be able in the future to have an opportunity to acquire experience in an international career.
International career.
Yeah.
Wow. And Ronald, I cannot see yourself very clear. It is down. Please come
It's below
up,
the bridge
up,
now.
up. Okay. It's a little better. Yeah. It's good. It's very good. Before that, I cannot distinguish between you and the bridge at the back of you. I cannot find Ronald. Okay, Ronald, what is your specific focal point for studying in your business, in your studying in your university, scientific field? Is there anything clear for you?
To be honest, not really clear.
Not really.
Yeah. I mean, kind of searching right now.
How many units have you passed from starting your bachelor?
This is the first one.
First one. Okay. You're at the first year of your studying?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're a new student to the bachelor.
Yeah.
It is the first course?
Yeah, it is the first one.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
And Robin, what about you?
Myself?
Yeah.
My field of study, human resources, is the key area. So for those of you three that don't know, I'm actually the HR director at California Miramar University. And then I've also done training and development. So I actually focus on self-confidence, communication skills, presentation skills. So anything that I can find the way as a leader to kind of motivate, inspire people.
Very good. Very good. And we hope that, for example, after 1 year, Ronald knows about his focal point, because the primary focal point shows you where do you want, not how do you want to go there to reach that point. It is your guideline, not your line. It is only your guideline, not your line. Line will be shown in the future. Okay, to help make sense of the word by providing validation as a romantic ideal. Such a good word in the business world, romantic ideal. Romantic ideal can be, for example, role player or role model. How do you want to play your roles? Why? Because you have a leader as a role model. It is the concept of romantic ideal. Obstacles of effective leadership. Environment, uncertainty. If you cannot, we have a concept in psychology and organizational psychology and other part, it is ambiguity tolerance. How can you tolerate your ambiguity? If you cannot tolerate ambiguity, you will be anxious. Why? Because ordinary word, not exceptional word, ordinary daily life has a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity. It is the nature of life. It is the real life. And organizational rigidity. Wow. Sometimes I really want and really like to call the rigid organization, not organization. They are tribe. They are something like tribe, not organization, because the basic concept of organizing somebody or some jobs are in flexibility. So falling back on old ideas and simplistic solutions. Do you know the meaning of dogmatism? D-O-G-M-A-T-I-S-M, dogmatism or dogmatism. Dogmatic people, fanatic people, are people who lives on their old, not useful, not efficient ideas. Establish organizational culture and inaccessible research, because you are scientists and science is based upon the measurement and observation. And how can you have some measurement observation about the real world? By research. Leadership and management.
Mhm.
What are the difference between managers and leaders? Managers are focused on the present. Leaders, as I said to you, focus on the future. Managers maintain the status quo, but the leaders create change. Managers implement policy, but the leader initiate policy. Managers maintain existing culture and structure. Leaders create new culture and structure. Managers remain aloof and objective. Leaders establish emotional bonds with followers. It is very, very important. A manager use position power, and leaders use personal power. Because of that, you have charismatic leaders, but you don't have charismatic managers. If your manager is charismatic, he or she is not manager, he or she is leader. So time, present, and future, status quo, and change, and how you obey policy or initiate policy, existing and new. You see that from the present moment to the future, all the words about the perspective, about your, somebody like, for example, Robin, have a good word in their job. It is vision and mission. As you see, everything here is about the vision, about the future, straightforward to the next step. As we call it in coaching, we say, let your next version be your best version. It is about your version, about your vision, about your mission. Okay. 10 major managerial roles: figurehead, leader, liaison, monitor, disseminator, spokesperson, entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Now we have some questions here. Is there any differences in gender roles in management? How do you think about it? Let's get back and after. Do you think is there differences between, for example, male leaders and female leaders? How do you think about it? We have 3 males here and 1 female. I am neutral.
I'll wait.
As a teacher, I am neutral.
And then I'll give my perspective.
For example, there is a fantasy about the female management that females are very, very rigid managers. Also, it's a fantasy, it's not real. We know a lot of people, a lot of female people, that they have very, very flexible managers. How do you think on yourself? Alexander, first you.
I think no difference, because the leadership is ability, skills, and don't mind the gender.
So you think that management is always the skills?
No, always.
Not always, yeah. Because, for example, in job matching, the basic part of job matching is about the matching personality traits with the job description. For example, when you use some tests like MBTI or DISC, D-I-S-C, these are job matching tests, inquiries. What do you want to match together? Match the personality traits with the job description. If it was all about the skills, it was only a skill training. Honestly, in individual differences, there is nothing only as the skills in individual differences. Yes, you can determine what the jobs needs and what are the skills they need. But you see the same skills in the different people with different results. The same class, the same training course, the same things. In different people, different results. They know the same skills. Why? Because I am not rabbit. I'm not mice. I'm not cow. I'm a human being. And between my training and my behavior, there is something so-called my brain with a cortex, very, very intellectual, cortical, higher cortical function. Because of that, for the same training, we have different results. Why? Because of, for example, genetic resources. Why? Because of life history. Why? Because of our attitude and other things that can impact the reality. So, other things. Ronald, how do you think about the gender differences between the female managers and male managers?
I know that is a difference, but it's I can say I can visualize this.
Okay. And then what about you?
I think there is no difference because there's a specific goal for each. If it's male or female, there's a specific target or goal. If you compare to India or in other country like Asian country, there is some cultural difference. Maybe that's may affect in somewhat. I think it depends on the country. If
it's culture based.
Cultural differences.
And I propose you to read the books. It is Sex Brain. The title of the books is Sex Brain.
Mm-hmm.
It is about the brain differences between genders.
Okay.
It is about the God creation, and not to. It is not bad or good. It is your nature.
So you're talking the physical. That's a physical.
Yeah. It is written based upon the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging findings. But about the personality, it is the brain-based personality differences, brain-based individual. So it is about the nature. And also a lot of other books and other videos you can, for example, watch at YouTube about the gender differences, natural gender differences between males and females. It is not about the, for example, discrimination. It is not about it. It is about differences. For example, how do you think about the ability to be pregnant in male and female? You will not talk about it as a discrimination. It is natural trait that females have the ability to be pregnant and males doesn't have. You don't know. It is about the discrimination. It is about the natural differences. It is about the mindset, not about the race, not about the ethnicity, not about the anything, about the natural. So because of these differences, we have gender differences in roles. Male managers, unrelated pace of work, non-stop working. I think it is about 65% of people with workaholism are male. 65% based upon the research. Do you know workaholism? What is workaholism?
Do males still have more heart attacks than females? And isn't this part of why?
No, it is not about the, it is about the gender differences, but it is not about the body. It is about the attitude. In the other items we talk about it, that it is your identity. Because the work is very important part of male identity in all the mammals, not in human being, especially in apes, in monkeys, in chimpanzees. But female chemistry pace of work, very good. Maternal pace of work, maternal leadership. Do a wide variety of tasks in female? No. A lot of people, a lot of male people are multifunctional. They do at the same time different and multiple functions. Always they are busy. Because of that, the rate of heart attacks in male managements are very, managers are very higher than female managers, heart attack, because of personality type A. I propose you to study about the personality type A and B, because it is basically about the managerial personality type, type A and type B, and about the body disorders, body diseases in managers. For example, CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. It is a very popular and very hard heart surgery. It is called managerial surgery because the cause of this disease is stress. And also there is a very good movie in internet, Stress Portrait of a Killer, The Stress Portrait of a Killer by Dr. Sapolsky, Robert Sapolsky from Stanford. It is a documentary movie so-called Stress Portrait of a Killer, because you will be the next generation of managers and leaders.
And you said, where do you find that?
Yeah, in YouTube, there is a, in YouTube, stress. And if you cannot manage yourself, you will die soon. It is not good. Okay? Frequent interruptions for male managers, didn't perceive interruption. Little time to communicate, very serious and very rigid. Male managers, we are not managers, we are kings. And kings are always alone. Schedule time for communication. Female managers are very happy managers. They're talking, solving problems, and also sometimes very hard managers, no flexibility. Few non-work activities, work and relating pace of work in males. But many non-work activities, yoga, happy time with partner and other things, and also a female manager. So because of that, male manager has a lot of isolation, but social interactions in female managers are very good. And identity tied work to work, as I talked about it before. That male managers identity tied to work. Who are you? I am Dr. Takavi. Who are you? I am Dr. Takavi. I said, sir, sorry, is your primary name, basic name is doctor? No, I'm Arash. But because I'm tied to my work, my identity is tied to my work, a lot of people say, especially in male, they said their title of job as a title of identity. And multifaceted identities, female or not. Who are you? I'm Robin. Who are you? I'm an HR manager. Who are you? Sometimes I have a doctor, for example, in biology. And other things, sometimes I have a little time to work as a, for example, professional painter. Wow. Multifaceted identities. And finally, who are you? I'm Robin. These are not my identities. These are my professions. These are my hobbies and other things, as you want to call it. But two parts, two traits are common between male managers and female managers. First, complex network, yes. It is called that your network is your, anybody knows about it? In success coaching, we say your network is your net worth.
Net worth, yes.
Your network is your net worth. These are the quotes from the success coaching. As Robin said, leaders are readers. Your network is your net worth. So all female managers and male managers have complex network, not simple network. Communication is very important. But the difference is in their way and the channels of communication. And prefer face-to-face. Also, this PowerPoint and this book is about, for example, before COVID. Now we have a now our communication is face-to-face. The conceptualization of face has changed. We are face-to-face, but in the cyberspace, not in the real space. Okay.
Can I add a point to the communication skills?
Yeah.
So one of the courses a company I worked for taught was how to communicate with diplomacy and tact. So there are some communicators that are very rough in their style.
Yeah.
And it was about 75 to 80% men in the courses versus women. So it's extremely eye-opening to me to see that it's not just the time they schedule for communication, but I think a lot of men have a more direct style because they want to get things done. They want to get done quicker and they think it's more effective and they don't want to spend that time in the non-work activities or connecting with others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are really rough and sometimes very tough because they are men, they are not female. Ronald, are you rough and tough or not? Alexander, are you rough and tough? I was some years ago, honestly, but now I have worked on myself. Are you rough and tough?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's good. Alexander, what about you?
Me too.
Not anymore? Or you? Sometimes ago, I was very rough. No, I was very tough, not rough. But after some years, I saw that I'm very successful, but I'm not happy. And that time I need more happiness, not more success. And after that, I understood that there is no correlation. There's no logical and rational relationship between being, for example, a rigid man and a successful man. I cannot separate from, because, for example, my father couldn't do it also. My society couldn't do it. Everybody is success should be very rough and tough. And after that, I started to laugh at myself, not as a wise man. And after that, I reached to some type of wisdom. It was very happy wisdom. So you can be a successful man or woman, male or female, and laughing at everything. You can be serious, but a serious laugher and a laugher serious man. You should be so serious in laughing at everything, very, very serious and laughing, and you should laugh at everything very seriously. After that, I went to the field of positive psychology as a scientific field, not about positive thinking. Positive psychology is something different, and it is very, very important in business. Very important, very money maker, positive psychology. Some part of positive psychology. 1/3 of positive psychology about the positive organization. This is very, very academic and very, very money makers, especially in countries like America. And after that, I thought that yes, it's very good to have a good mind and a loving mind, because creative mind is not for rough and tough people. And you cannot be a good leader if you are not creator. Creator, not creative. Something more than to be creative. Creator. Okay, let's go to the next. Role modeling, reward system, hiring decision, strategy, organizational culture, and leader. We will talk about the conceptual meaning of culture. But at this part, you know that I, as a leader, I should be my employee, my followers' role model. I should have a reward system. I should have a hiring decision strategy and strategy structure for shaping our organizational culture. There are a lot of debates about the role and importance and significance of leadership in an organization. Some people, some researchers, some scientists says that honestly, it is an exaggerated sense of importance about the role of leadership in an organization. A lot of scientists says that no, leadership is not so important as you say. Why? Because it is a basic different definitions, for example, between leadership and manager. They are the same. There's an organization and you have some people to lead or manage your organization. So because of this oppositional movement against leadership and management concept, there are a lot of research about the naturalistic part and basic parts of the role of leadership in organization and also in daily life. Environment is more important than leadership. Some part is that, nature versus nurture. Internal culture and structure are determined the course organization takes. Leadership accounts for only 7% to 15% of performance in some studies. Yes, leaders have little discretion and leadership is a romantic myth. These are the opposite of leadership, effective leadership in organization. Also, I think you shouldn't take the research method course. Alexandra, have you passed the research method course or not? Have you taken the research method course in the bachelor? Have you studied the research method course? No. Okay. I think you will take it in MBA or DBA. After that, after knowing about the research method, you should know how to analyze a research. It is correct or not correct. Because of that, every research is not trustable. You should pay attention to it. Because in America, it is very popular that they said, based upon the research, we have some, for example, false finding about, for example, happiness. And I said, sorry, who is your research conductor? Who has conducted your research? Is he or she a scientific, academic people or not? Because of this propaganda, especially in United States, there are a lot of false beliefs. Because general people doesn't know anything about the science of research and scientific research. They know, okay, based upon the research, we have some, for example, general findings about against the COVID-19. And everybody go to the beach that, okay, that's good research shows that COVID-19 has stopped. And after that, for example, in 2 days only, we have an increase in COVID-19. Why? Because every research is not conducted by the researchers, scientific researchers. In the higher grade, for example, in MBA and DBA, you will know and you should have some serious courses about the research method. Significance of leadership is one of many important factors. Leaders provide vision and direction. Leaders are critical on orchestrating change. It is very, very important. If you want to be a permanent, effective leader or manager, you should consider for all of your life until your death as a human being, 2 concepts. 1, change. 2, uncertainty. These are the basic part of every human action. Every human action. Life is always changeable, always changing. Even when you are, no, it is not changeable. It is a fixed and permanent situation. I will laugh at you that, yes, you are in transient permanent situation. It is permanent, but it is not permanent situation. It is transient permanent situation, fixed situation. And the second concept is uncertainty. If you can handle these parts, okay, that's good. You will be a good father, a good man, a good woman, a good leader, and effective. It is not talking about goodness. It is talking about effectiveness in the real world. But a lot of people has a very serious fear of change. Why? Why people pay me, for example, $1,000 per month for 4 weeks only for change management as a life coach? Why? Is there anything that I know and they don't know? No, they know everything. They understand everything, but they cannot apply it in their daily life. Because of that, for example, we pay somebody as a change manager. Change is for yourself. Change manager, don't say you which point you want to go. He or she asks you, which point do you want to go? What type of change do you want to create in your life? You, as a client, determine what change do you want to happen in your life. But after the change manager shows you how to do it, it is about coaching, mentoring. So please remember that these two concepts are the basic concept of every human action. Every human action, including your thoughts is an action, your feelings are actions, and your behaviors are your actions. So action in this type of definition is not included only observable matters. It is only interesting and extrovertic actions, behaviors, or interesting in your body, in your mind, as your thoughts, as your emotions, as your feeling. All of the human actions has two parts. One, change. Two, uncertainty. Leadership can account for close to half of performance in some cases. Yeah, leadership's impact is moderated by situational factors. New roles of leaders. So in this definition, we have two parts, leaders and followers. The first one, the second one. We have two types of leadership, control-oriented leadership and result-oriented leadership. What type of leadership do you love, Robin? Control-oriented leadership. As an HR management, what type of leadership do you like?
I'd much rather have people involved in planning, organizing, making some of the decisions, because then they buy into more of what the decision is versus telling somebody what should be done.
Yeah. And what about you, Alexander?
I think a result-oriented leadership.
It is very high risk. Why? Because in result-oriented leadership, a lot of jobs is related to the followers, not to the leaders. But it is very, very human maker process. In this type of leadership, after sometimes followers will be matured people, not immature, because a lot of feedback. What is the basic sign of intelligence that I asked you at the first minutes of the session? The signs of intelligence. The major sign of intelligence is feedback. Intelligent people have feedback. Non-intelligent, smart, stupid people doesn't have. They have the same wrong ways and the same wrong gains. Stupid people go the same wrong ways, and surprising, they receive the same wrong gains. And they are surprised, wow, what the hell this world is. I'm in a bad, unlucky situation all my life. And I said, sorry, have you changed your ways? She said, she or he said, no. And I said, how do you expect to have other outcomes, other results? The same wrong ways, the same wrong gained. Although it is a quotation from myself. Or plan, organize, lead, control, do. Doing is always with followers in both of the patterns, control-oriented leadership and result-oriented. Doing a state is always with followers, but a huge role of leadership is with leader in control-oriented leadership. It is sometimes, for example, authoritarian parenting style. The parents want to have some authority over the child. It is control-oriented leadership. And also in, for example, spouses, between the wives and the husbands. Sometimes men or women are control-oriented. Everything should be under control of my own views. But in result-oriented, I said, okay, you are the responsible of the results. Go ahead. I only give you plan and give you the goals. It is high risky. Honestly, it is risky, but not high risky, because we talk about the change and uncertainty. The risk, and as you will study in your courses in the university, you have a very, very important and intellectualistic course, so-called game theory and risk study and study of risk ability. How do you want to be a good manager and you cannot study the risk of your decisions? Honestly, one of the worst parts that a lot of people don't want to be a manager, it is because they can tolerate the responsibility of the risks. No, sorry. I cannot be responsible of the decision. Why? Because it is very risky. So, okay, you can study the risk and you can achieve the responsibility of the risk study and risky outcomes. No, sir. I want to be a simple worker. It is good for me. It is good for me. Why? Because I can tolerate uncertainty. I cannot tolerate ambiguity. I cannot tolerate never ending changing world. Never ending changing world. Okay?
Do you see a difference in this culturally?
What?
The control versus the results oriented?
The differences?
Yeah, if certain cultures tend to follow more of the control oriented?
Yeah, I think that the new cultures and new managerial culture is going very fast to the result-oriented leadership. Why? Because it is a cyber control, and you don't have, honestly, you don't have any cyber control over your employees in control-oriented leadership. Leadership is going to conceptualize the goals, not to set the goals. We as the leaders are producing concepts of the organization. When you are a leader, if you cannot produce concept for your organization, you are not leader, you are manager. At the basic part, you are owner. There are differences between employee, self-employed, business owner. When you are employee, you work for others. Okay. When you are self-employed, you work for yourself. When you are business owner, other people work for yourself. So when you are business owner, you can go to holiday. Okay, your organization is working. In business ownership and also in business strategic thinking, leaders are the same people that create the concept for decision-making. Before this time, leaders were very accompanied to process of decision-making. Now they are not decision-makers. Decision-makers are managers. Leaders are producing concept. For example, some business consultant in the US, as a business consultant, they come to your company. Some executive coaches come to your company. They are not manager. For example, I know one of the business executive coaches, He is an engineer of chemistry, industrial chemistry. But now his work is executive coach. Why? In all the companies. For example, in a car holding company, or for example, dishwashing producers. He is industrial chemistry engineer, but he goes to the organization at the executive coach. Why? Because he knows the process of decision making and the concept of correct decision making in all levels. So I think after 1 decade, at the maximum rate of time, 1 decade, I think we will talk about the control-oriented leadership as a traditional leadership style, not as a modern or current leadership style. Factors fueling change. It's a good question. Why should we change? Employee expectations are changing, yes. Demographic changes, for example, in my country, Iran, about 56 or 60% of my country are under age of 30. 60% are under age of 30. My country is one of the youngest countries all around the world, 60%. So it's a good labor force, yes, but there is a danger. After, for example, 2 decades, 60% of my country will be old age. So as a social leader, I should have some plan for producing job for these young people and producing healthcare system. For example, it didn't say that I love to know about the healthcare systems or healthcare policies in my country, for example, India, in Iran, in Middle East, everywhere. It is demographic changes. Other example, for example, you know the differences, demographic differences in different states of America. For example, how many rates is for Hispanic people in California in contrast with, for example, with African Americans, or in New York between Hispanic people and Native American, Indian American, and other ethnicities or other races. So demographic changes, and we need to adopt with demographic changes a new concept of leadership, new procedure and new ways of thinking about leadership. What by political changes, as you say, as you can see in the world, and increase globalization, that we will talk about the globalization in the next sessions. It is not important. It is about the barriers to change. Perceived financial pressure. We have a very common word here. It is perceived financial pressure, not financial pressure. How do you perceive, how do you understand your financial pressure? Perceived is a very, very common word in all types of mental processes. For example, you have a prediction about your future. For example, 1 year after this time, for your next, for 2021. It is not real about the future. It is your perceived future. But you always act based upon your perception of your future. It is called your perceived future. And after that, based upon your perceived future, you will create your future, especially when it is negative, not positive. If you have a negative perceived future, you don't work good and efficient for your future. So you will create your future so unlucky, yes. Why? Because you believe at your future, you perceive your future as a bad situation, not as a good situation. Short-term orientation. Orientation is very, when we are talking about the change, we are talking about the future. And future is not short-term, it is long-term. If it is short-term, it is not called future, it is called today. And top management is still focused on person, traditional organization, employee input, and creating not fully considered. Do you know what is the most creative company all around the world? Do you know? What is the name of the most creative company in the world just now? With the highest rate of creativity in 1 year, for example. It is car making. It is a company car manufacturer.
Tesla?
No. A Japanese? Japanese. The most famous Japanese car company is? Toyota. I propose you to read about a concept so-called Kaizen. Kaizen. K-A-I-Z-E-N. Kaizen. Kaizen is the concept of quality control, so-called zero defeat or zero defect. It is the basic, this Japanese word, which is very popular in the management, especially in US. It is Kaizen. Quality control, it is Kaizen. It is zero defect. Also in psychology, we have Kaizen. Kaizen is a lifestyle. It's a thinking style, not only for quality control, for producing, for example, in factories and in companies. Focus on individual rather than group performance. In third world, in the developing countries, yes. For example, in Middle East, there is a culture that person is more important than groups. For example, you look at the sports in the Middle East, people are very successful. They are not teamwork. But think about it, for example, in the North Europe, teamwork. In America, teamwork. It is better than, for example, Middle East. But in those parts of world, we have a very successful people in single person sports. For example, Taekwondo. Wrestling. The best wrestlers are Iranian, American, Russian. Iranian people are the best wrestlers, sports as athletic people all around the world. After that, it is changeable between Russia and America. What wrestler is only a single person, not a teamwork. During, for example, last 2 decades, the atmosphere of team working is changing. Yes. For example, Iranian success team is more successful in contrast with, for example, 2 decades ago. It is very relative that leaders should not focus on person because we don't have anything leadership in your job also. We don't have anything so-called leadership for one person. One person doesn't need leadership. One person needs training. That's good. Training is only one part of leadership. And traditional management styles that it is out of the box, nobody can use it. Leadership challenge. Challenges for new leaders, just like you. Learning new duties. If you don't know anything about your duties and your responsibilities, you cannot be a good leader, effective leader. Adapting to new roles. Every time you entered your home and your wife, your husband, your child says, wow, it is sometimes that you have changed. You should be happy. Why? Because it is the sign of becoming a leader, not being a leader. Leadership is the type of becoming, not being. If your near relative, near friend says, Ruben, why? You are changing. You are not talking. You are always thinking, feeling, and acting like a leader. Robin, you are not the same old Robin. We cannot understand this new Robin. Robin should be happy. Yes, she is becoming a leader. Leadership is not a social organization role. Leadership is a characteristic personality. If you want to be a real leader, after that, you have a leadership mindset. Leadership is a lifestyle. Leadership is a mindset. Leadership is not only about the skill training. Yes, it starts with the skill training. But in the race of leadership, there is no stop point. It's ongoing, progressive, ongoing, progressive. So social opposition with you is a good sign for becoming a leader. None of the great leaders are approval seeker. I think that the criteria of leader is one of the greatest criteria, as you studied in just now, was the followers. And I think the other criteria of a good, effective leader is oppositions, not only followers. If you have a good new idea, you should know a lot of people reject you, don't approve you, don't accept you. It's a good thing. Why? Because creator, not creative. You are creator, a new idea. Okay, so adapting to new roles of yourself, maintaining old relationships and building new networks. It's very hard. Actions that help in this process, which is training, clear message. You should not be confused about your message to yourself at the first step. You should know what do you want to say to other people. What is your gift to the world as a leader, to your organization as a leader? For example, if you go to a new organization and said, yes, I want to maintain and repair the condition of this organization and go to the best condition of these condition, present condition. I want only to recorrect the condition. You are not a leader. You are a good manager. Don't forget, leaders are future oriented. If you cannot think or you don't know how to think and organize and planning and acting based upon the future, you are a very, very good manager, but you are not leader. For leaders, tomorrow is not like today. If you want to continue today as the best quality, that's good. Welcome to the world of management, not the world of leadership. Leadership has a charismatic personality. Leadership is a mindset, it's a lifestyle, not only the knowledge. And patience. Also, we'll talk about the difference between waiting list and patient list. It is so different. In patience, you are waiting for the spring. But if you live in the, for example, North Pole, you are not patient about the next spring because there is no next spring. It is always winter. It is waiting list. You are wasting in waiting. It is waiting list is always wasting list. When you are waiting, not patience. Patience is a good and efficient word, but waiting is not a good word. It is a very dysfunctional word. When you are wasting list, you are in a wasting list, not waiting list, because you are wasting your time. And thing to avoid, over-managing. There is a very pathological word in psychotherapy that I see in a lot of American people, especially in parents. It is called over-responsibility, over-supportive, over-management. A good leader, a good manager should know that in what points, in what location, he or she should not be a good manager or good leader. It is very important that in which parts, in which points, you should not be a leader. It is very important. Except of that, you will be over leader, over manager. It is very, very, it has a lot of turn out and burn out point for you. And jumping into action too fast. Jumping into action too fast or too many changes, it is the opposite of patience. Why? You have something like, for example, layout for your factory. Why you have a startup lean for your startup company? Why you have business plan? Business plan say to you, stop it. Think about the future, plan it, and after that, take action. It is jumping into action too fast. Wow, it is overloading. You cannot handle all your responsibility, and after that, you reject or incomplete your task and trying to remain one of the gang. Okay. Leading change, unique culture based on employee and customers, communication and inclusion are the heart of leadership. If you are an isolated person, you cannot be a good leader. Communication and inclusion. It is sometimes something like hugging. Yes, it is emotional hugging. As you read in the previous pages, that emotional leaders are have emotional bond with their followers. Your followers should not love you always, but should admire you always. It is very, very, very smart difference between winners and losers. Winners are always admirable, but not always lovable. Losers are always lovable, but not always admirable. Admire, for example, you should have some hard and opposition with other people's decision against the profits and benefits of your company. Okay, it's a hard decision. A lot of people don't like your decision because you are not the father of them. You are the leader of your company. The most important thing for you is your company. And in this part, yes, what is your company? Your employees, your followers. So you should have some hard decisions that is good for the followers, for the company, but it is hard decision. It is not easy decision. When it is hard, you are not lovable, but you are admirable. Why? Because it's good. It's a wise man or wise woman. So careful selection and training our employees to fit the culture. We are talking about the leading and culture. Applying what you learn, leadership basics, find your passion. Nitin has found his passion. He's passionate about the healthcare system and health system. There is a field in the university, it is health economy. Health economy is a combination between economy and healthcare system. It is very good. And a lot of nurses, because they know the real atmosphere of the healthcare system. They are not only researcher or observer, they are engaged with the patient, with the social working, with the physicians, and with the real world. A lot of nurses, after that, for example, go to insurance law or to healthcare insurance law, and also to health economy and healthcare system management. Find your passion. Alexander, do you know your passion? Alexander, do you know your passion?
Sorry?
Do you know your passion for leadership? What field do you want to have to be passionate about the leadership? What field of leadership do you want to be passionate about? Or no? No, you don't know. You don't know. Be sure. Because if somebody has something, has some passion about something, it is the first sign that you should not think about it. It is your passion. When you are thinking, it is shown that, okay, there is no passion, because the passion come up before you think about it. It is passion, enthusiasm. And learn about yourself. Self-awareness, we have 10 life skills in WHO, World Health Organization, describes 10 life skills. For example, time management, life skills. What is life skills? Life skills are the skills that you should know to manage your daily life. It is called life skills. 10 life skills in WHO. For example, time management is one of the 10 life skills. Critical thinking is one of the 10 life skills. Anger management is one of the 10 life skills. Stress management is one of the 10 life skills. But the first and the most important life skills defined and determined by WHO is self-awareness, self-discovery. Is the first, WHO as a scientific organization determining that before everything, you should know yourself. Self-awareness, and it's a course. It's a very formal academic course with the topics and very technical course. And experiment with new behaviors and situations. Get comfortable with failure. Welcome to Mistake Club. Welcome to Mistake Club. Life is your mistake club. Welcome to Mistake Club. Get comfortable with failure. I have a mono Insta live in Farsi language, in my native language, some weeks ago about the Johannine complex. Johannine complex is a word coined by Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow, one of the greatest positive and humanistic psychologists, which has a lot of concepts in management. Abraham Maslow, or Hierarchy of Needs by Abraham Maslow. Maslow has a word, has a phrase coined, so-called Johannine complex. Johannine complex is mean fear of success, not fear of failure. A lot of people have fear of success because when you are successful, you should be responsible. And when you are very successful, you should be very responsible. So get comfortable with failure. Pay attention to your environment and don't take yourself too seriously. It is better for me to be, not I should be, not I must be, not I have to be. It is better for me to be everything, everything, with no exception. It is better to me to be a doctor, to be a manager, to be a parent, to be a boyfriend, to be. It is better. When you say, I have to, I should, I must, there's a resistant power in yourself. You produce a resistant power in yourself because you say to yourself that I am not now, and I should. It is dichotic thinking. It is binary thinking, not decimal. As you say in engineering, in electronic engineering field, they say fuzzy logic. Have you heard about it? Fuzzy logic? Fuzzy logic or phasey logic. It is about the different infinite stages between 2 points. This is 0, this is 1. How many digits are there between 0 and 1? Infinite. It is fuzzy logic. It is decimal thinking, not binary thinking. So don't take yourself so seriously. Okay, have a 5 to 10 minutes break, and after that I will get back. I will have about 30 or 35 minutes continue session to talk about the other subjects. After 10 minutes, I will be here again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Room number 236, all the way by Akshas, not 40. Thank you.
Hi again. Yeah. Take a minute. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Take care of it. Yeah. Share screen. It is here. Yeah. Take a minute. Okay. We want to talk about the global and cultural context of organizational leadership. Very, very short review. I want to share it. Here is sharing, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Because of the, you have a weekly, at first don't remember to send me, also it is in the Moodle page, you can see the Moodle room, that you should send me your first learning engagement until the midnight of Wednesday. It is very important. Your basic learning engagement, not your participation. Your basic learning engagement about the question, which is in the learning engagement part, you should send your first learning engagement and basic learning engagement until the midnight of Wednesday. And after that, until the end of the Sunday, you have time to have at least 2 participation with other people, other learners, learning engagement. Okay. And every week we have a quiz, which is about 15 minutes. Class is hybrid, combo, and if there wasn't COVID-19, I had an opportunity to be with you face to face, but now we are in Zoom meeting rooms. And so the last 15 minutes of each session is for the weekly quick quiz. And the quiz is about you can find the answer in the PowerPoints. Now, chapter 1 and chapter 2 in the week first, you can see the PowerPoints. And it is very easy quiz and has a 25 grades of your final. Each week has a 25 grades. And in week 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, you have final quizzes. The week 4, you have midterm quiz. And in week 8, you have final quiz. So I think we have now 15 minutes to talk to you. And after that, you will take your weekly quiz. Everywhere you go in society, in your family, in the world, one of the major words you can use is culture. Culture is everywhere. Culture is everything. Everything. If I want to summarize all the human differences, summarize all the human differences, gender differences, ethnic gender differences, racial differences, natural differences, national differences. If I want to summarize all the human differences in one word, this word is culture. Culture is everything, especially in the human being spaces. For example, management. For example, leadership. For example, making money. For example, cyberspace. In every space, in every atmosphere, you want to work. Your work should be maybe your job. Your work, maybe your career. Your work, maybe your function, your performance, your relationship. All of them are sometimes words. The major, the rootest, the basic, the most crucial word you can use for each type of human differences is culture. What is the culture? Why culture is so important like this? Why? Because culture shapes your values. You have 2 words here, 2 basic and crucial words here, values and standards. The standards are the minimum level you can accept in your life. For example, if something is under the standard, you cannot accept it. For example, industrial standards, manufacturing standards, human being standard, relationship standards. Standards are the minimum acceptable level. Under the standards, you cannot accept it. You should reject it. For example, respect is one of the standards of interpersonal relationships. If you don't have any respect to each other in each type of relationship, this relationship is rejected, is not accepted. It's standards. The maximum level of everything in human relationships, in human world, is ideals, idealistic level. The maximum. For example, if the grade is between 0 and 20, and the failing number is 10, under 10 is fail, after 10 is accepted, is passed. The standard number is 10. Under 10, you are not passed the course, you have failed. But the maximum number is 20, A+. Between these are values. Values are the items that your decisions is based upon on. You decide based upon your values in your life. Everything. For example, if a poor man or woman, his or her value is making money, all his or her decision is based upon making money. Is he or she has a lot of money, for example, after 2 years? Yes. Is he or she wealthy? No, because something different. I propose you that I advise you to read the book Unshakable. Robin, has you read it, Unshakable?
No, what's that about?
Unshakable. You know that in finance, in philosophy of finance, not in a financial science, there's something so-called philosophy of finance. We have 3 levels of financial situation. One, the first and the basic level is financial security. And upper level is financial independence. And the final level is financial freedom. Financial security, financial independence, and the best and the highest level is financial freedom. Financial freedom doesn't mean that you have a lot of money to do everything. It is mean that your decisions are free from considering financial issues. You are free from money, not you have a lot of money to do everything. It is money slavery. Have you heard it? Money is slavery?
Mm-hmm.
Money is slavery. A lot of people, and it's a very, very great danger for managers and leaders to put in a money slavery situation. Take care about it. You will have a lot of money after some years, very, very soon, very, very soon. And after that, you see that, wow, money is not for me. I am for money. I am in the position of money slavery. When we say financial freedom, it is out of the money slavery position. Okay? Because of that, the culture is very important, because it is related to your culture. How do you think about the money? How do you think about the financial issues? Do you want only to have financial security? Welcome to the work of employee. Do you want to have a very good money for doing everything to financial independency? Welcome to the world of business ownership. Do you want to have the financial freedom? Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship, leadership, because in this part, you don't need the money as a basic need. It is your meta needs. Money in this level, money is not the issue. Wealth is the issue. In the book Unshakable, Anthony Robbins says about this part. What are the differences between money, to be rich, to be happy, and to be wealthy? Not only a rich man, a rich woman. Okay? Because of that, culture is very important. Culture is everything. Values shared by a group members. Set of norms, customs, values, and assumptions. Take care. When you say normal, normal is something based upon the norms, not healthy. Take care, pay attention, be careful. Normal is not always healthy. For example, in a lot of part of Africa, from each 2 people, 3 people, 2 of them has AIDS, HIV positive, which is norm in that part of Africa, HIV. Is it healthy? No. HIV illness is not healthy. So everything is normal. It is not absolutely healthy. Healthy to be healthy is something different with to be normal. So guided behavior. If you cannot see a cultural setting in the followers' behavior, it is not culture. It is thinking. It is believed. You should be able to measure and observe the cultural aspects of somebody thinking and beliefs in their behavior. If you cannot see in their behavior, it is not culture. It is some type of belief. Not very valuable, not very norm, not customs, nothing about the pre-assumptions and assumptions, and makes a group unique. In the previous protest in the United States, you can see the role of culture. Why? After it is 1862, yes, Emancipation Proclamation, it is about 1862. After that, in 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. talks about that great lecture, so-called I Have a Dream. And now it is 2020. But you can see that a lot of hidden forces, hidden oppositional forces are there. Why? Because it makes a group unique and different and separate, and sometimes segregation, sometimes discrimination. Because of that, culture is everything. And makes one group different from other group that is very obvious. We have 3 levels of culture: national culture, group culture, and organizational culture. At your level of decision, you should encounter with your organizational culture. But you are a man, you are a woman, you are a human being. Before that, before choosing your proficiency as a manager, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, and other parts of organization, before that, you were a son of your, for example, mother. You were a child. So you have some ethnicical, racial, national, and sometimes gender-based culture, gender-induced cultures about customs, about your norms, about your values, about your beliefs, about your nationality, for your nationality, for your race, for your ethnicity, for your family. You have a lot of presets, sets which are setting before you know about the universe when you were a child. Culture is from that part of your life. It is very crucial, very, very crucial. Because of that, we have 3 levels of culture: national culture, group culture, and organizational culture. We have sometimes of models of national culture. One culture, national, is whole cultural context framework. I want to talk about it about 2 minutes. And Hofstede 5 cultural dimension, individual collectivism. It is very interesting. In the remaining time, I want to talk about the model, Edward House. It has high context culture and low context culture. It's about the national. Why? For example, in my country, Iran, when you are talking about your body language, we have a very, very, very subtle cues in my country. For example, when we talk it with it's let's go. Why? Because I have a nationality with high context culture. Our behavior has a lot of hidden meaning. Why? Because of the government, because of the history, because of intelligence and other parts. But in opposition of, for example, my country, in Denmark. In Denmark, everything you say is the same thing that have you said. No other meaning, no hidden meaning. It is low context culture. There is no contextual meaning. Always, also in America, America is in the mid-level. It is not very high context level. Why? Because in America, people are honest. They say everything they are thinking about. No hidden, no necessary to lie, no necessary to hidden parts. Especially white American, Hispanic American, Native American, old immigrants, they know the culture that honesty is the best policy. So they don't have any high context culture. Their context is not so high. It is the best and one of the first views about the different national cultures. It's coined by Edward Hall, Cultural Context Framework. It is a very famous framework. It is very good for you to know about it and look at your culture, look at your nationality, look at your race. With this view, with this perspective, that, oh, my grandpa was very high context. Why? Because, for example, when he was talking about his history, he had a lot of body language sign that now for example, second generation after my grandpa, I don't understand what he was talking about. It has a lot of hidden meaning. As you see, trust is more important than legal and formal contract. In cults, in a very, very family-based groups, or very, very belief-based groups, in religion, we have a lot of high context culture. We have a lot of symbols. The basic part of mythology is high context culture. What is the myths? A myth is something that there are some deeper meaning for it. You see, for example, a sign in mythology and say, what is this? I say, it is my finger. And mythology, no, it is the invitation to be silent. It is not your finger. Why? Because there is a mythology about the finger, about the hidden, there is a hidden meaning about your finger. In low context countries, they said, it is your finger. In high context, they said, it is the sign of threatening. It is the sign of invitation to be silent and every other thing that you can consider in a high context country. So this model of culture is very popular between the scientists of human sciences, in sociologists and other people that study that part of culture. Okay, it is the end of the time of the class, and please go to your Moodle and pass the quiz just now, and take a minute. I have okay, that's good. I have your name for the attendance list. And yes, it's here. Very, very happy to have such a class with you. And I hope to see you in the other weeks. And if you have any question, you can email me. It is very popular to email me. And especially Ronald, because you said to me that it is your first course in the university. Welcome to our university at first. And Nidin, what is the...
Thank you.
Welcome. We are very happy that international students and also newcomer students to university, not newcomer to United States, newcomer to university.
I'll be here in 4 years. I almost 2 more courses to finish my graduation.
Wow.
Actually, I had a semester break. My wife is 8 months.
Wow.
So,
Congrats.
is her due date. Thank you. So in between, I'm taking care of her because she has a hormonal problem. So we are expecting next month, 16 her date.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry?
Is this your first child?
And no, we had a miscarriage last year.
Oh.
Oh, that's why we are a little
So sorry.
careful for that. Anyway, she's okay. Just 1 more month. We are
Okay,
waiting.
good, good.
Okay, that's good.
So we're
That's
gonna
good.
we're gonna be here when she has the baby. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, she had a grow.
That's good. Alexander, how do you feel about the class? Give me a feedback.
Oh, it's so
It was
good.
nice, yeah.
I learned a lot, and for me, everything's okay.
Because my background is from psychology, also I'm a psychologist, and I'm positive psychologist, so overlap with industry, with management, and also with nursing, as I said to you, and also with health psychology. So it is, I'm a multifunctionalist man. There's
Yeah, I
something
I
different,
like that context.
but I love it. I love it. So some courses like leadership, if you go only an instructor that only knows about the management of leadership, for example, when he didn't say, yes, my favorite part is, for example, nursing, is mute, nothing to say. I think when instructors for some courses like leadership, like sociology, like organizational, for example, behaviors and other, like this, it is interdisciplinary between more than 1 or 2 disciplines together to cover the concept. It is very good. See you later. See you next week. Bye.
See you. Thank you.
Let me take your course. Bye.